New Orleans, with its rich cultural tapestry, vibrant traditions, and dark, complicated history, has long been regarded as one of the most haunted cities in the world. This city, where the dead are not merely a distant memory but an active part of the living world, has stories of ghosts, hauntings, and mysterious phenomena passed down through generations. We will delve into the city's most haunted sites and the stories that fuel its eerie reputation. So, turn off the lights, sit back, and join us, shall you? The French Quarter, also known as Vieux Carré, is the historic heart of New Orleans and a central hub for ghost sightings and paranormal activity. Its streets are alive with the energy of centuries past, and nearly every building has a story to tell, often one that involves tragedy, violence, or unresolved spirits. The architecture itself, with its iron balconies and courtyards, seems to breathe history, providing the perfect backdrop for ghost stories and legends. Perhaps the most infamous of all haunted locations in New Orleans is the LaLaurie Mansion, located at 1140 Royal Street. This grand, stately home was once the residence of Madame Delphine LaLaurie, a well-known socialite in the early 19th century. Behind the facade of wealth and grace, however, a dark secret. In 1834, a fire broke out in the mansion, and as neighbors rushed to assist, they discovered a torture chamber in the attic where enslaved people had been subjected to horrific abuse. The details of what was uncovered were so gruesome that the public's shock quickly turned to fury. Madame LaLaurie fled New Orleans, escaping the wrath of the mob that sought justice for her crimes. Today, the LaLaurie Mansion is considered one of the most haunted houses in the United States. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied screams, seeing shadowy figures in the windows, and feeling an overwhelming sense of dread as they approach the house. Some believe that the spirits of the enslaved individuals who suffered at LaLaurie's hands are still trapped within the walls of the mansion, unable to find peace. Another historic building in the French Quarter known for its paranormal activity is the Hotel Monteleone. Built in 1886, this luxurious hotel has seen its fair share of notable guests over the years, including Ernest Hemingway, Tennessee Williams, and Truman Capote. However, it's not just famous names that have left their mark on the hotel. The Monteleone is said to be haunted by several spirits, the most famous of which is the ghost of a young boy named Maurice Beguer. According to the legend, Maurice died of fever while staying at the hotel with his family. His mother, devastated by the loss, continued to visit the hotel in hopes of encountering her son's spirit. To this day, guests report seeing a child roaming the hallways, and some even claim to have seen him in their rooms. The Carousel Bar, the hotel's famous revolving bar, is also said to be a gathering place for spirits. Patrons have experienced strange phenomena there, such as glasses moving on their own and cold spots appearing unexpectedly. Pirates Alley, a narrow pedestrian street near St. Louis Cathedral, has long been associated with tales of piracy and smuggling. Jean Lafitte, the notorious pirate and privateer who operated in the Gulf of Mexico, is said to haunt this area. Lafitte played a significant role in the defense of New Orleans during the War of 1812, but his life of crime and mystery has led to numerous ghost stories about him. Late at night, when the alley is quiet, people have reported hearing disembodied voices, the sound of footsteps, and even glimpsing shadowy figures darting through the narrow street. Some claim Lafitte himself still walks Pirates Alley, perhaps guarding his legendary hidden treasures or simply reliving his secretive dealings that once took place there. Cemeteries in New Orleans are unlike any other in the United States, with their rows of elaborate above-ground tombs creating what look like small cities for the dead. One of the most famous is St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, established in 1789 and located just a few blocks from the French Quarter. This cemetery is not only famous for its unique burial practices, but also for being the final resting place of Marie Laveau, the legendary Voodoo Queen of New Orleans. Marie Laveau was a powerful figure in 19th century New Orleans, known for her healing abilities, fortune-telling, and connection to the Voodoo religion. Even after her death in 1881, her spirit is said to remain active, and her tomb is one of the most visited in the city. Many visitors leave offerings of coins, candles, and other tokens, hoping to gain Laveau's favor or invoke her assistance. Some claim to have seen her ghost walking through the cemetery, often described as wearing a white dress and a tignon, a traditional Creole headscarf. Others have reported feeling a strong presence or a sudden chill when standing near her tomb. But it's not just Marie Laveau's spirit that is said to haunt St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. The cemetery is also home to countless other restless souls, many of whom died under tragic or violent circumstances. Visitors often speak of hearing whispers, footsteps, or even seeing shadowy figures moving among the tombs. It is believed that many of the cemetery's occupants are unable to find peace, their spirits lingering in the labyrinth of mausoleums. New Orleans is perhaps best known for its association with voodoo, a religion that originated in West Africa and was brought to Louisiana by enslaved Africans. Over time, voodoo in New Orleans evolved into a unique blend of African, Catholic, and indigenous beliefs, with rituals and practices focused on the connection between the living and the dead. The city's long-standing relationship with voodoo has added to its reputation as a place where the supernatural is not just a curiosity, but a part of everyday life. Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen, is perhaps the most famous figure associated with New Orleans voodoo. Her influence during the 19th century was so great that she became a legend, and many believe that her spirit still watches over the city. But voodoo's presence in New Orleans extends far beyond Marie Laveau. Throughout the city, voodoo altars can be found in homes and shops, often covered with offerings to the Loa, the spirits who are believed to guide and protect the living. Voodoo rituals are an important part of this spiritual practice, often involving altars, drumming, chanting, and offerings to the spirits. Some of these rituals are said to summon the spirits of the dead, inviting them to communicate with the living. For many in New Orleans, the line between the physical and spiritual worlds is thin, and voodoo offers a way to bridge that gap. Public voodoo ceremonies are sometimes held during major events such as Mardi Gras or All Saints' Day, and visitors to the city can even participate in guided tours of voodoo temples. These tours often include explanations of the religion's history and practices, as well as visits to significant voodoo sites, such as Congo Square, where enslaved Africans once gathered to practice their rituals and celebrate their traditions. Today, Congo Square is a peaceful place, but many believe that the energy of those early gatherings still lingers, and visitors have reported feeling a powerful spiritual presence when standing in the square. About 90 miles from New Orleans, the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, is often cited as one of the most haunted homes in the United States. Built in 1796, the plantation has been the site of numerous ghost sightings and strange occurrences over the years. The most famous of these is the ghost of Chloe, an enslaved woman who is said to have poisoned the plantation owner's children. According to legend, Chloe was caught eavesdropping on the family and was punished by having her ear cut off. In revenge, she poisoned a birthday cake intended for the family, but the plan backfired and 2 of the children died. Chloe was hanged by the other enslaved workers for her crime, and her spirit is said to haunt the plantation to this day. Visitors have reported seeing a woman in a green turban wandering the grounds, believed to be Chloe. Others have experienced cold spots, strange noises, and objects moving on their own. In addition to Chloe's ghost, the Myrtles Plantation is said to be home to the spirits of the children who died. Guests have reported hearing the sound of children's laughter and footsteps, as well as seeing small, ghostly figures running through the halls. The plantation's grand staircase is also a focal point for paranormal activity, with many people claiming to feel an overwhelming sense of unease while walking up the steps. The Mississippi River, often referred to as the Mighty Mississippi, has long been a central part of New Orleans' history and identity. However, it has also been the site of numerous tragedies, from shipwrecks to drownings, and many believe that the river is haunted by the spirits of those who died in its waters. One of the most famous ghost stories associated with the Mississippi River is that of a phantom riverboat seen drifting silently along the water before disappearing into the mist. Some believe this ghost ship is the spirit of a vessel that sank in the 19th century, taking with it the lives of its crew and passengers. Fishermen and boaters have reported seeing this eerie sight, as well as hearing the faint sounds of a ship's bell or the voices of those long lost to the river. Another haunting figure associated with the Mississippi River is the Phantom of the Levees, a shadowy figure seen standing on the levees that protect the city from flooding. According to legend, the Phantom is the spirit of a man who drowned during one of the many floods that have devastated New Orleans over the years. His presence is often regarded as a warning of impending disaster, appearing just before a major storm or flood. New Orleans is a city that thrives on its connection to the past, and nowhere is this more evident than in its haunted history. The ghosts of New Orleans are not just relics of folklore, they are a living, breathing part of the city's identity. From the haunted streets of the French Quarter to the restless spirits of the cemeteries and plantations, New Orleans is a place where the dead walk among the living, their stories woven into the fabric of the city. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and ring that notification bell for more true creepy tales. Until next time, my friends.